Have you ever had a really weird dream? One that was so vivid that you couldn't shake the feelings it brought to you, even after you'd woken up? I have had plenty of vivid dreams. And even though we sometimes downplay it, dreams are one of the ways God can communicate with us. Sometimes, when the cares and worries of our daily lives make it too hard to reach us, the Lord speaks to us in our times of sleep and sends us messages of hope or reproof. Daniel 2 is about a dream, and it's not even a dream given to a prophet of God or even an Israelite, but to Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. In the dream, Nebuchadnezzar saw a huge image, a statue with a golden head, a chest and arms of silver, a belly made of brass, and legs made out of iron, with feet made of iron mixed with clay. Nebuchadnezzar then saw a stone cut out of a mountain without hands that broke the statue into pieces and filled the entire earth. The dream so troubled Nebuchadnezzar that he sought out wise men all over Babylon to give him the answer. When they couldn't give him the answer, he threatened to kill all of the wise men, and would have done it too if Daniel hadn't intervened. Daniel was a Jew living in the midst of Babylon, and he immediately told the king why his wise men couldn't interpret the dream. The secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets and maketh known to King Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Daniel then proceeded to explain the meaning of the dream. In fact, he even told the king the details of the dream, even though the king hadn't told Daniel about the dream yet. The different parts of the statue represented a series of kingdoms. Nebuchadnezzar's empire, Babylon, was the head of gold. The different parts of the statue represented other kingdoms, each of which would be inferior to the one before, but would rise in its place. We haven't been told specifically who the kingdoms were in the dream, but looking back over the course of history, we can make a few guesses. If the golden head was the Babylonian Empire, then the silver chests and arms might be the Persian Empire that overthrew Babylon and took over its possession. The brass belly might be the empire of Alexander the Great, the Macedonian Empire that overthrew the Persians. The empire of Alexander was in turn supplanted by the Roman Empire, the rulers of the Mediterranean world at the time when Jesus came to earth. Some people have speculated that the Roman Empire might have been represented by two legs because it eventually split into an Eastern and a Western empire before it fell. After the fall of the Roman Empire, it was replaced by the European nations, who used a mixture of Roman laws and customs combined with their own, hence the feat of iron mixed with clay. Part of the point of the dream seems to have been to show just how temporary and fleeting the empires of men can be. It was only a few short years before Nebuchadnezzar's empire, one of the mightiest ever seen on earth, was overthrown and cast down. But the last kingdom seen in the dream was the most important. The stone cut out of mountain without hands was a truly everlasting kingdom, one that would never fall and that would eventually fill the earth. Daniel told the king, "And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever." What is the identity of this last kingdom? In a revelation given to Joseph Smith in 1831, the Lord said, "The keys of the kingdom of God are committed unto man on the earth, and from thence shall the gospel roll forth unto the ends of the earth, as the stone which is cut out of the mountain without hands shall roll forth, until it has filled the whole earth." This last kingdom was cut out of the stone without hands because it wasn't a kingdom built by men. It was a kingdom built by God. It wouldn't come to power or prominence through violence and oppression like all the other kingdoms. It would gain its influence through the power of God and because of the righteousness of its people. This kingdom has already been established. The priesthood keys necessary for it to rise were given by ancient prophets like Moses, Elijah, and Elias to modern prophets. It goes forth bit by bit every day, powered by the power of God given to ordinary men and women to carry out his work. The interpretation of the dream was enough to make Nebuchadnezzar tell Daniel, "Of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods and a Lord of kings." While the interpretation of the dream was enough for Nebuchadnezzar, we are living in the midst of the dream. We have a chance through our daily acts of devotion, through our willingness to serve God and gather Israel to be a part of that last and greatest of all kingdoms.